Okay, so this is where, and I'll put the link in the chat too, so you can get these as well.
Okay.
They're also on the website if you ever, lose the link, or of course you can just always ask me for it again as well. What you're gonna do is to you, it's just gonna be a view only because obviously if I let everyone have editing, then they would all just
Oh,
be
then
able to edit
it
the
would be
exact
gone.
same one. So I did that originally with the database. I didn't realize that that was gonna happen. So then I had to change it to view only. So what you'll have to do is just file, make a copy, and you would just make a copy. And I usually just, you can put whatever you want, like my listing presentation or whatever. But like I said, I did put it on PowerPoint because it can be a little easier. Most people are already familiar with PowerPoint before they're comfortable in Command. So this is just a generic one. So say you were running late and you just wanted to print this out, you could totally do it. But so basically, I mean, are you familiar with PowerPoint? I'm gonna go over the basics just
Yeah,
quickly.
I'm pretty good with PowerPoint.
Yeah, so you would just click on the photo. Obviously, you can right click, you can change everything with that, or obviously insert photo. All these are stock images that are available on Command, which I'll show you how to pull those.
Okay.
So if you want to change these out, I know sometimes it can be a little hard to find free stock photos. Usually they have, that little like graphic over them that you're not supposed to. But so you would change out that again, the name, you just double click, and you would edit the message just as if you were to do it on a Word doc. And again, this is, vertical. So when you present, it'll be vertical. If you went to present, it would just show up like this. And then obviously you would just click the buttons on the bottom or on your computer. We
Okay.
did add the home warranties in here that are now with our company. So if you want to keep them in there.
Yeah.
It just gives them some information on home warranty.
Yeah, it's a good
Uh,
option.
yeah, the checklist. This is definitely something you would want to look into just because, this is a process this is more general process, but maybe there's things that you want to add that you do on a general basis. I did edit this one on the PowerPoint because some of the parts are, again, the Command site is international. So they make everything very generic, and some things, might not align with New Jersey, what you do in a process of closing a listing or buy side. So I did update it to make sure that, everything made sense for our transactions.
Okay.
So again, if you aren't going to do staging, then take that out. Or if you want to just leave this blank, talk about it. Or, if you don't do a just listed marketing campaign, obviously you don't want to put that in there because there will be those people that will be like, well, this was on the checklist. Like, why don't I see it? So you want to make sure everything on here is what you're going to be doing. And maybe you want to add like a little here and there of things that you also do for them.
Okay.
The app, so let me zoom out this little. We'll do 50%. So this just talks about the consumer app. Something that's really cool that you can do if you copy your app link and you send it to support at scottleroymarketing.com, they will make a QR code, which is awesome because obviously most of the time you're printing this out. And if you just put the link on here, like that doesn't really do anything for you. So I know QR codes are like is like, well, that's old. Like no one uses that anymore. But you don't need an app anymore to scan the QR code. You just take your phone and literally like open your camera app and just click on the if you were focusing on a photo, and it'll pop up like a push notification. You'll click on that. It'll bring them to the app. They'll download it, and then it'll be branded to you. So
That's
one
great.
less thing you have to do. So definitely you would want to email them. The reason I suggest emailing them is because you can find sites on, online that make free QR codes. But sometimes I know I personally did this, and this is why I just say to do it to Scott Leroy Marketing. I got one that's for the back of my business card that has like my flyer and everything. And it said it was free. And then like 3 months later, it was not free anymore. So now it goes to 90. So it looks pretty cool in the back. So it looks just like a design, but it's not useful anymore. So that's why when people are like, oh, well, I saw there's a free like I think it's like Scan Monkey or something like that. But if you have the time and you're preparing for this, I would just suggest to, send to Scott Roy Marketing because they pay for something. So that's why it will work.
Yeah.
You won't have to worry about it, getting shut down.
Yeah, no, I trust them already, so I wouldn't send it to anybody else but them.
Yeah. So that's definitely something you would want to do. And then when you're on the appointment, make sure they scan in, they download your app, and then they'll be added to your contacts. You'll start seeing everything they're looking at. You can make their saved searches. This page is just, again, talking about your marketing plan. So this just really gives them more of like statistics on like who's looking at homes, like that you have technology marketing tools for them. This page is talking about smart targeting. So this is more geared to like dynamic flyers, postcards. If that's not really, what you're going to be doing, I probably would just change the wording down. Again, this is all generic. So you want to go through and make sure the way you would explain something, is the way that it's explained in here. And obviously if you're not doing something, obviously take it out. And then if you end up adding something else, just add it in. And that goes for this media plan too. So I did take out, they used to have like coming soon on here, but coming soon really, there's a lot of rules around it now. So it's better to just, stay clear. It's on the MLS, you can do a delayed showing, which you can call coming soon. But if it's not on the MLS, you can't like promote that you have this listing at this address at this price. And if you ever have any questions about anything like legally, what you can do, Sally's your girl. She gets all the updates on all those rules. So she's the best person. Obviously, if you're not doing like a property brochure or just listed email, again, you want to make sure to take those things out because you don't want it to come back to bite you just in case. Some people aren't going to really dive into this, but you never know. There might be that client that like follows to a T what you said in the presentation. Open house. So obviously right now, some agents are doing open houses, some aren't. So it's really up to you. And you might want to change or add some things about COVID in here. I just didn't do it because I didn't want that to also be there when, we go back to normal and then people are like, why is this in here? So I would just add, that you're going to have everyone obviously wearing masks, booties, hand sanitizer, whatever your process is going to be for the open house. Okay. You definitely would want to add there. For the boxes, you can just click on them and click copy, and so that they're all the same, and then you would just add the text there as well.
Okay.
In the details, like I said, if you're not going to be doing something, take it out. The real value, real experience, there is just a generic kind of like about KW, but this is where you would put your bio. So you can like add your photo. You'll put your bio in here. If you don't have one, obviously you can use this or the generic one that you get in your marketing profile as well. Credentials and awards. So these are just generic, KW international awards. Something else you might want to add is our KW stats. So the reason I didn't add them already in here is because they do change every month. So that's probably something you do want to add. I would just, duplicate this slide, and then you would be able to just add the flyer from our website. And the way you would get that is by the phone number. And then when you get there, you would go to the more tab, depending on, how big your screen is. If you have it on the whole screen, it'll probably already be there. But you're going to go to statistics. And that is where every single month, everything gets uploaded. And so you have like about our profit share. This would be good. This is for 2020. So if you just wanted to have that entire, 2020 flyer that we are #1 in all these towns all throughout 2020, you can. But again, that's something that we do update like every month. So if you wanted to update it every month, again, right now we are still closing out like we have the year through because obviously it just happened to be a new year. So if you want to use those for now, but by the time you get to mid-year, you probably just want to use the ones that we update every single month. All you'd have to do is click on it, and then you would just download it and add the image into your presentation.
Awesome.
And again, as a new agent, that is like huge because you don't have your own stats yet. So to be able to say, I work in the number one office in the MLS, that will definitely give you a little head above some of the other agents that they may be, talking to.
Yeah.
This part just talks about our leading the industry and like what KW is all about. So like win-win, integrity, customers, commitment, communication. We did add equity in here, which I'll be adding today. Actually, it's on my to-do list, so that'll be updated for you. So I'll share this with you after I
Okay.
update, so you can copy that over. And then this page is really about like what you do for the community. So if you're not like big into like community service or that kind of stuff, just read through this and maybe it doesn't relate to you. You might want to change your promise to something else,
Yeah.
or take out the page completely.
Okay.
Then the bottom line, this is just kind of talking about obviously you're going to be with them from the start to the finish, making sure that they have everything they need. Something that I like to do is what you can do is insert and just do a text box. And then what you do is you would type your name and I make it into a script. So it looks like you signed the presentation.
Oh, nice.
So you would just change the font to a script, whatever script you want to use. And you can, obviously not that small, but I usually make it like the whole thing. And then, you can write it so it looks like you like hand wrote it. And then I usually like turn it a little so that it looks, scripts usually like a little slanted. So you just have your name there.
Yeah,
So
great
that's,
idea. I love that.
yeah, a little personalization, especially like say you're working on this and then all of a sudden someone wants to meet, you can just like print it out quick and then finish personalizing it after. Then the last page just has the address. Obviously this you would want to add your cell phone number and email address. I usually would say to add your like headshot on the top two. It's up to you if you want to add your headshot and information on every page. I would definitely put it on a few pages. Some people don't want it on every page, but you can definitely do that as well. Obviously, the buyer presentation is the exact same, just information based on the buyer. Again, these are things that you definitely want to go through. Some people will print it out so they can like cross out things and then they'll go on and edit. But you definitely want to make sure what you're presenting to them is stuff that you're doing and stuff that like you can promise them.
Yeah.
So now what I'll show you is on the command, where the presentations are on there.
Okay.
It's not simple to get the PDF to a PowerPoint. It did take some I had to
Finessing.
find like a website, like PDF to PowerPoint, and then the sizing is completely different. So you will have to update it. But if that's something you want to do, because there are a few other designs now in here, obviously go for it. It's just not as easy to do. That's why I did just make it a template. So what you would do is go to designs and you click the blue plus button. And instead of choosing social, you're going to choose print. And then you'll click next. And if you see pages you want to add, just make sure to add them as a JPEG so that you can add them as an image. You can't like import a PDF to a page. You can obviously import a PDF to Command and be able to edit some of the stuff, but you can't add a PDF to a page. So you can always add the PDF to Command and then download it to a JPEG, or you can do Cloud Convert. I'm like a big promoter of Cloud Convert. You just sign in with your Google account and you can convert a lot. You can't convert PDF to PowerPoint. I learned that. But
I was going to ask that.
Yeah. I can send you the link if you're interested, though. I literally just Googled like PDF to PowerPoint and just chose the one that looked the most reliable and got that to work.
We'll see in 3 months if they charge you or not.
Yeah, they haven't yet, so I think we're good. So what you do is go to listing presentation. Because I went over the listing presentation, I'll do the buyer one. So you just choose obviously which one you're doing. As you can see, there are a few different options. So the one that I went off of, I think it's this one technically, but they do have other options. Obviously black, if you're going to be printing it, I wouldn't recommend doing that because that's it takes a lot of ink. But if you wanted to, obviously go for it. But let's just say I wanted to use this one. You would just click on it and it would load it. What you're going to do is it's going to be blank. So some people get confused here because it's literally going to say that there's just a blank page. What you have to do is on the left-hand side, this is your template. So you would go through and add the pages you wanted. You can always
Okay.
delete them, so you don't have to worry about, adding a page you don't want. But let's just say, like, I don't really want a table of contents. Again, some of this is just more reminding them that you're there for them. Some people don't like to add that, so you don't have to. I'm just gonna add a few pages so I can kind of show you. There's like 4 homeless wish list pages, so you might want to rearrange that where maybe that's something that you give to them that they actually fill out,
Yeah.
instead of it just being like, it's really just where it's asking, basically giving you kind of a prep to be able to ask them that questions. But maybe you want to create this page so that it's literally like line by line and they fill it out and they give it to you so that you know exactly what they want. So again, completely up to you on how you lay that out. And then let me see. There are, because this is KW International, it does talk about Keller Mortgage, but obviously we have our mortgage companies in our office. So if you want to incorporate them in here so that, it's already top of mind when they are thinking about who they want to represent them, that's definitely something you can do as well. Like there's a home loans page that talks about with Keller Mortgage, but you might want to change that to, having you say you have 2 options for them. These are our local vendors that we have, that are with our office, and who they are. Maybe you want to do that instead. Again, some of the pages like my competitive advantage, that is what you would replace with the office stats until you got your own, because a lot of it, I'll add it and show you. A lot of it is obviously doing your own calculations, like, how many days on market are the homes that you sell usually? What's your closed sales volume? So again, as a new agent, you're not going to have those numbers, but you can use the office numbers. So that's why
Okay.
we give those flyers every month so that you can update that. And again, you're not going to have testimonials yet, but once you do, you would add those pages as well. The buy side definitely has a lot more pages because it gives them like tools. So like there's a commonly used terms, like I think there's 3 pages of that. So just letting them know. And I feel like this is more for like a first time home buyer.
Yeah.
But this might be something that you want to give aside from the presentation. Like maybe you don't want this in your actual presentation. You're not going to like go into full detail on everything in here. So maybe that's something you just want to give them, like, oh, by the way, here's this, these commonly used terms, just in case you're confused by anything. But again, the buyers is definitely a little longer. But what you would do is on here, obviously, to design it, you would click on the text box. This bar will pop up on the top. You have everything you would want to do as if you were in a Word doc. This little typewriter tool, especially for paragraphs, is definitely a lot better to use because it pops up in your face. You're not like squinting, like, where am I with the cursor? So you can edit everything on here. Again, my biggest thing is like, make sure you read everything and make it in a way that like you would explain it yourself, because if not, then if they ask you something, you're like, what is that? And then you're like, oh, that's in my presentation.
Like, this is your presentation. What are you doing?
So definitely want to do that. Like I said, with the home loans, you are more than welcome to add the preferred mortgage companies here. Their information is on our website that you can pull that from.
Okay.
Financing your future. Again, some of this stuff is different in different states. So you definitely want to just make sure that everything they're doing in their home buying process, again, is what you'll be doing for them. Getting to know your neighborhood. This is a page where you could add a neighborhood nurture snapshot if they did, if you knew kind of where they were looking already. So to get that, the way you would do it is, say you want to replace this photo, you would go to the KWLS and you would choose snapshots. And this is where you would choose, you can actually search by postal code or neighborhood name. So let's just say I was searching, they're looking to buy in Bridgewood. I type the zip code in. It'll give me a quick neighborhood snapshot of how many homes are on the market, what's the average price, and all of that. Let me search by, let's see what pops up. So you have obviously, again, the neighborhoods are very honed in on that specific area. So if you want to do Ridgewood, you can choose the neighborhood. When it loads, you will see it will give you different options based on obviously what your page looks like. So for this one, we would want this one because it is, horizontal, or we could also use just this quick snapshot of Ridgewood as well. And you can just click this replace button and that'll replace it. Obviously, it cut it off a little because it wasn't the exact same size. So all you would have to do is just drag it open to make sure
Okay.
you have all the information. Something that I do, I know some people, they like to pull this information themselves from the MLS. What you can do is, this is like a little hack. If you like the way it looks, but you want to add your own information, you would click on any of the grade part and you would choose shapes, choose square, and then you would just go over whatever you wanted to add. So say, you pulled all the information that's accurate for exactly today of all of Ridgewood. You can pull that over. Obviously, you would want to make that white so that it just covers that. And now, at the moment, it looks like nothing's there. But what you would do is you would just add a text box over that and you would put, what you find on the MLS. So, because sometimes if you're not looking, they're not really looking in a specific neighborhood, but you want to do the entire, town, or maybe you want to pull the stats for, say, they're looking in 3 towns and you want to show them like how many homes are on the market, what the average sale price is for all of them. Then, you'd have to pull that stuff yourself. So that's kind of how you get around with that. If you like the way the design looks, but you want to calculate those numbers yourself, you can do
Okay.
that just by adding those shapes and then adding the text boxes over it. Next page. So again, like I said, the home wish list. This might be something that you want to change into more of a space for them to fill out or for you to fill out when you're talking to them. But again, questions you're going to ask them, really, this is just to prompt you to get them to really help you find them exactly what they want and what's on their wish list. So it's really up to you. Some people leave it in there. Some people, like I said, make it more into like a Word doc thing to leave with them, and then they go over it after. Build your preference. I think this is great because it'll allow them to tell you, okay, I would rather, get updates by email, by a call, by text. What's the best time to reach you, and all of that. So this gives you, if people, usually people want to know by phone, but you never know. Maybe they're more of an email person. So always good to know that information. Sound decision. This is kind of like the promise on the listing side. Just again, reminding them that you're there for them. I didn't add all the pages because the buy side is a lot of pages, but that's why it's so great, is because you can choose from the template on what you want. You don't have to add every single page in there. You can choose, what, I'm not going to do this part. And if you have it on command and you leave it on command and you just print it out every time you have a new client, the great thing is that, okay, once you get those testimonials, you would just add that page, put it where you want, and then it'll be part of your template anyways. So like I was saying before, command does have a lot of stock images. Obviously this home, I'm pretty sure I see a little palm tree in the back, so it's probably not New Jersey. So what you would want to do is, obviously you don't really want to have places that don't, that person's going to be like, where's this?
Yeah.
So what you would do is you would click on the photo and you would go to company. And under company, you have a ton of different stock images. So you have house interior, lifestyle, at home, activities, neighborhood, exterior. So for this, we probably would want house exterior. And when you click on it, like I said, the top left, definitely not New Jersey. Again, command is international. So they have to have enough things for everyone to be able to have it, make sure it reminds where they are. So you would just want to scroll through until you got something like, oh, is there a dog in this pic? Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, there is. That's a good one.
So like this could be New Jersey,
Yeah.
and same with this, obviously, maybe like, more like not New Jersey, but it also could be New Jersey, just not in the area we live in. Definitely not like the suburbs, more rural area.
Yeah.
But you would just scroll through until you find one. Obviously, like this one, this could be anyone's backyard. So you just want to scroll through, find the stock images you want. Obviously, the stock images of people, you can find those in the lifestyle ones. So again, you would just find the ones that you make most sense for our area, and what you're talking about. Obviously, like, I don't know what running has to do with the client in the first picture, so you probably wouldn't want to put that. But anything like if it's a family, maybe swap out like a family like photo. There's some if you do lifestyle activities, oh, that's one weird. Lifestyle at home. There's a lot of like families pushing like boxes. So if you want to be like, if you were ever posting something in general too, you could use that. Be like, I'll help you move everything. We'll get your house on the market really quick, and it's a picture of people moving boxes. So you do have those stock photos. Like I said, if you're going to be working off the PowerPoint, what you would do is, instead of choosing print, you would just choose social, and you would just choose a blank one, or you just choose a template and get rid of everything. And then you would just add that photo, download it as a JPEG, crop it, and then you have your stock photo.
Okay.
So you don't have, that's the great thing about in here. There's a ton of them. And if you don't like any of them, you can search obviously on Google, and you just have to make sure you put like free stock image and then look at it really hard, because sometimes they have the like thing on them, but you can't really see it. So you just want to make sure you're not, breaking any rules. But besides that, that's how you would edit on PowerPoint and in Command.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions or anything?
For loops,